A 17th century castle, hidden in the south on the borders of Carlow and Wexford, Huntington still escapes the harsh realities of modern living. It has been occupied several times by invading troops, but was never destroyed, and the present family, the Durdin-Robertsons, who have been here for generations, still manage to lead a life in the old style, but with a difference. All the family have an interest in the psychic world, and the ghosts of the castle do not terrify them. 10 years ago, the castle became a centre for meditation and study, and has been a meeting place for druids, spiritualists, occultists, and students of meditation. Convention has little place in the family, but pride in the castle is strong.
No, it was built in 1625 as a fortress. Then, I think it was Sir Lawrence Esmonde in 1680 lived in it as a dwelling house, and he planted the avenue, which he got from lime trees from France. In 1760, the last of the Esmondes who lived here had 3 daughters. The eldest daughter married a Richard Durdin. So, of course, the title went on to the Esmonde family, and the present Sir Anthony Esmonde is a direct descendant.
I think nobody could not believe in phenomena if they lived here, because we have so much. In fact, the visitors seem to see more than we do. There seem to be many layers of spirits. For instance, there are these monks. Now, many people who've never visited the place before are aware of Franciscan monks walking up and down our U Walk, which is said to be 13th century and is connected with the ruins called the Abbey, with these old cells.
A few years ago, I was sleeping on the couch in the library, and I was awoken early in the morning, feeling the whole couch swaying from side to side, like a hammock, rather. And I looked around, and this is extremely clear. I mean, it's clearer than your hair. There's a tall man standing with his hands on the end, rather pale man with dark robes on. And he was just looking down at me, just a serious sort of face with his hands. And, I mean, people would say you're probably drunk, or you were this, or you're that, which one does think when one hears that bits, but when one actually sees it, it's completely, I mean, it's a totally different thing, really. But you can't really believe these things unless you've seen them yourself, I think. But there's no other thing which explains it. I mean, it's not a question of light or shadow, because the people are there. And people do, quite often, when they're frightened and things, think they see all sorts of things. But these are funny, furry shapes and things are a different thing altogether. Or they're a trace of something less imprinted in the thing, but they're not actually ghosts or spirits.
Well, what do you think they're trying to do? Mr. Robertson is writing a book on the deities of the world. His special interest is a temple dedicated to the Greek goddess Isis, hidden in a secluded corner of the castle.
Well, actually, it's a melody by Schumann.
How long has this been a place of worship here?
It was built by my grandmother about 1907. She was started as an Anglican, or really what she would have called an Anglo-Catholic chapel.
And did it go on as that?
Well, about 10 years ago, it, shall I say, broadened in its view. I'm interested in the ecumenical beliefs, and I hold that one's belief should, at least for myself anyhow, should include all that is best in every religion. And so my belief, you might call it polytheistic. I accept the deities, whether of Chaldea, Egypt, India, Greece, Rome, and including our own gods and goddesses of Ireland.
Well, how is this incorporated in worship here?
Well, it's incorporated in the extent that I have pictures or statues of the different deities, mainly goddesses, you may notice, because I feel that the feminine element in deity needs to be re-established.
It's called the Temple of Isis. Why is that?
Isis represents, or is, both an ancient goddess, and also there is a very strong cult being built in the present. For instance, the Golden Dawn, of which W.B. Yeats was a member, gives a very good, very important place to Isis.
What sort of religious services would you hold here?
Well, we hold occasionally rather what the Welsh would call the gorseds, which are festivals of art and dancing, where the and the reading of poetry and rather like a miniature Wexford festival.
Would you use any religious books?
Yes, if anyone chooses to, because being what I said polytheistic, I think the many includes any. So any religion will find a welcome here, provided, of course, that it is ethical and good.
One final question. Have you got any favourite deity?
Well, my favourite deity is Isis, to whom the temple is officially dedicated.
You're a medium. What exactly does that mean?
A channel. That is, I decided to train properly, so I went to the College of Psychic Science and I studied under Douglas Johnson, the famous medium who works for scientists and in television in America. And I was on the platform mediums class, but I'm not a professional, but I was very pleased. A friend of mine, Josephine, and I were with the real, what we call professional mediums. And I learned to believe in it.
In Huntington, there is time for thought and meditation, and the exploration of the world of spirits. For Olivia Robertson, spiritualism supplies the answers about the nature of man. She holds seances to listen to these spirits, and the abbey, built in the 13th century, provides the setting.
I feel this presence here. Now, this figure is robed in white. She's got the most beautiful face, and oddly enough, I feel that she's smaller than life size. I'm seeing her like that, as if she were a little bit smaller and yet real, like a real statue. And she's holding, I'm getting shivers. You know those shivers one gets, sort of tinglings. She's holding this lovely golden cross in her hands. Now, she's moving now behind you. I feel she is a guide and helper. That is those people who come to us. Now, I mustn't talk too much. I must tune in again. She says that we have been drawn together here, that in the country of Ireland there's always been a beautiful relationship between the world of spirit that has never been blasphemed by killing people about it. That is, the people didn't burn people for seeing nature spirits. And that the angels are near here because it's been cut off through misfortune, which is really a blessing. Now, I'm given to understand that you have been thinking about this, why misfortunes happen, and I'm to tell you that it's like a school that people learn from experience. I still get this feeling with you of writing. I know you said before you don't, but you're going to write, and you're going to write on this sort of thing. Now, there's somebody else here. I get the feeling of this as of a man. I get a monk, one of these Franciscans. And now, in the background, as it were, further along, I get this grandmother. And they're going to help you with this work. Don't worry, it's scientific. There is a scientist in your family, somebody with a very, very good brain. This person will help you. You're interested in the reaches of the mind, psychology, and this is all tied up. It's tied up with the mind.
Olivia, you've given me a lot to think about. Thank you very much indeed.
I think there's been a lovely atmosphere. We've been in harmony on this particular evening, Midsummer's Eve.